I mean, for me, if you're going to start Foden, you have to drop Bellingham. What are your thoughts on how you could potentially fit all of the attacking talents together?
So, like like we said when we had a conversation before the tournament, or at least during the group stages, the problem with answering the question directly is I have the like foresight now, kind of like hindsight. So so I can like look at it and go, do you know what? Foden on the left didn't work. However, there probably is a way, there probably is a manager, and there probably is a sort of like with our smorgasbord of attacking talent, a way you could put them all in. However, look at what the other teams did. And when you look at it with hindsight again, they didn't try and fit players in. They just played them in their position. And if they didn't like play well or didn't fit the system, they were simply dropped. And it's not like that. It's not as harsh as that word. Like that's not what it is. It's just you're not
Yeah.
selected. It's not that Foden
Yeah.
gets dropped. For this game, we play Bellingham. For the next game, we play Foden. And I think that Foden kept naturally, as he was always going to, dropping in from the left, and coupled with a lot of other things such as like Trippier and playing Trent in midfield, like pushed our team all the way over to the right. And I mean, it's not as difficult to defend against a team that is only attacking or majoritively attacking from one side. And so it made a sort of stalemate where Bellingham and Foden were getting each other's way, coupled with Kane dropping in. You've got too many players in the same place and nothing out to the left to give them the space. And, you know, by the nature of how football works, if you have somebody sort of high and then you have somebody out left, you can see that there's loads of space in between my hands. And if I then bring them closer together, we've got less and less and less space. And funnily enough, more space out on the left. So if we had somebody there who was actually like, I don't know, Gordon, like who's got loads of pace.
Someone that was left-footed, maybe like a fullback, like a
Yep.
left back that was left-footed that wasn't injured, maybe someone like that on the pitch, mate. That might have helped.
Yeah. I think that if he had solved the left hand side first, Foden can probably play there because you've got more to do. However, I do agree with you. I think it's a little bit like when Paul Scholes or Gerrard used to have to be put out to the left for some odd reason in a 4-4-2. And it's the same here. If that formation of 4-3-3 doesn't work with the players you've got, change it. And look, when we did, again, hindsight and all that, but when we did, we played better. And then for some reason, Southgate reverted back in the final to the 4-3-3 formation, and we looked crap again. And it's so I think you can play Foden on the left, but if I was the manager, I wouldn't. It does to me. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, but it's possible.
I think you get more from playing Foden from the bench, and then if you're 1-0 down, or if you're chasing the game, you've got a fresh Foden to bring on that is
Mm.
going to be able to do what he does, which is drop a shoulder, take it around a player, curl it in from 30 yards, and that's a Foden goal in my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Like, takes, cuts in, left foot, bam, goal. Can't do that on the left, really. So I think you lose a lot from Foden, and you also lose a lot from the left-hand side of not having someone that is either right-footed, because Foden's left-footed, right? But he's not a winger, so it's not like he's just going to hug the touchline and go down
mm,
the line and cross the ball in. So
nope,
he's left foot. He's going to want to cut in. That's why he probably that Saka Foden discussion maybe, but for me, no. I just think play
mm,
play your system. Don't just get your players and go, well, these are the best players that I have, so I'm going to try and fit them in. Right?
no,
There's loads of teams that have amazing players in the same position, but they don't put them on the pitch at the same time because there's a pecking
yeah,
order, and then then it's a competition. It's about Foden or Bellingham. You need to produce in the middle of the park every game, every other game, in order to keep that position, that starting position. And you, rather than it's fine, whatever you do, we're going to try and shoehorn you in. But I
No,
felt, I just feel it's so similar to the Paul Scholes scenario. And what do you do with something like Paul Scholes? Well, what the England team did was bring him into the team and just put him in the wrong position, and he wasn't able to produce, and the whole team weren't able to produce because you know there weren't the right people in that team. I feel the same thing with Foden. Just bring it. Same with Cole Palmer. If Cole Palmer is going to start, he should be on the right hand side, and you should bring Saka onto the bench, and then have a fresh Saka coming on at 60 minutes to terrorise the defence. It's that's my take on it. I think it's poor to select both Bellingham and Foden in the same team because I think they both want to occupy the same space.
I kind of agree. Like there, so in my head, there's so many things going through my head because there are so many like permutations you could do. If you don't play Kane, it changes the discussion completely. If you play a striker that wants to get in behind, you can play Foden and Bellingham behind him, like Foden on the left and coming in and not having a left hand side because there's so much more space than Kane not playing high, not just dropping, but just not playing high. So he because he's frustrated and he was like maybe clearly injured, and then it has I agree with you, it has a sort of like backlogging effect on the entire team, and I just don't think we were like tactically good enough until the knockout phases, and then I think Gareth Southgate stumbled across a old habit, old formula that works, and then playing like two number 10s in Foden and Bellingham. Again, I think it's a bit greedy. I don't think you need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know any other team that has two 10s in world football. But maybe there is.
Yeah,
But
it's It's a champ man formation. It's a football manager formation. It doesn't really happen in real life. Yeah, but you
no.
do it when you've bought your 15th attacking midfielder and you need to try and start playing them. You put two
Yeah.
attacking midfielders there, right? It's not a real life formation. Well, not that I've seen many teams do it, apart from the old Brazil team that used to play the 4-2-2-2. And you'd have the two
Yeah.
attacking midfielders in there, but they were Brazil. They could do what they want at that stage. That was early 2000s Brazil. They could literally do whatever they wanted. They'd win the games. But yeah,
Well,
but I agree. Greedy is a good point on that.
if we recreated the old Brazil France 98 airport advert with playing Foden on the left, and that was like, I'm sure you remember the advert, the total football thing, like where
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
Nielsen doing all his tricks and all that. If
Great,
that's
great
how we
advert.
play,
If people haven't seen the advert, like put it on YouTube. Classic advert when Nike adverts were amazing.
yeah, when the real Ronaldo existed, and
Yeah.
it's if we played like that with all these players in there being greedy, and we just attacked like that, then sweet, then I'm okay with it. Then do what you want. It doesn't matter. We don't need defensive players, and I can understand why people were going, oh my God, we need to attack because we've got all this talent, but also we were concerned about the defence. So without over labouring the point, I actually think, personally, from an England standpoint, the best performer, I mean, we talked about it before, but Mark Gay, he was the best performer for England. I think our best attacking player was Saka. I think Declan Rice had quite a quiet tournament. I think probably
Yeah.
because of South.
I think one probably that the last season probably he was very tired, but secondly, if you're going into a major tournament and you don't know who your centre midfield partner is,
Mhm.
and then when if you do know it, it's a right back in Trent,
Yeah.
or it is a Mainu who's had 6 months in the Premier League essentially, an
Yeah.
amazing player, but I would imagine that was incredibly challenging for Rice to have to kind of work with those two players and still try and do it. But yeah, he looked tired. I've never seen him look so tired on a football pitch. Well, I say never seen. I've only seen him really for a year, but he looked tired in that final. He looked like he just wanted the full-time whistle to happen.
Well, he ran the most distance out of any player in the tournament, I think.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I mean that.
I believe. Yeah, he'd run like I think he was averaging because there was the program on YouTube called Lion's Den, I think it was. It was a great program, like a great YouTube channel thing, interviewing all the England players, and they were talking about it, and they asked him, "Did you know you ran like 40 kilometers up to this point?" And that was like just before the semi-final, I think, and it was like the closest person was at like 32 or something like that. So he was like miles ahead, and he said, "Yeah, some of the players hilariously say like that I'm running too much." And maybe that
Yeah.
was a thing. Maybe you're right. I'd never even really thought about it. But I can't, like I said, I find it difficult to blame the players because we got to the final because of them.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm not saying because Trent is a great player. He's not. He's not a central midfielder. He's an
No.
inverted right back. He'll come into midfield, but he stays at right back. And Mainu is a young player that's still learning the game. So,
Yeah.
but I think yeah, I wouldn't. I like you. I wouldn't blame the player. If Southgate made the decisions to bring those people, um,
Yeah.
and we don't really have anyone to sit in that kind of number 8 or double 6 or whatever it is anyway. So
And again, another shout. We talked about, me and you specifically talked about this at length. But I think his name's, is it Tyreek Mitchell?
yeah, Mitchell. Yeah, Tyreek Mitchell, Crystal Palace's left back.
He, and I believe you agreed with me in terms of I am a Liverpool fan, so I judge other teams on how well they play against us, especially when we were really good. And I've never seen anybody bar Tomiyasu, who's your player, Aguna, um, basically like pocket Salah. I mean, Salah will still do things, but I've never seen that. And Tyreek Mitchell was the only other person I was like, oh my God, I've never seen anyone. We played in Champions League finals against people, and I've never seen anyone do that to Salah. And I
Yeah,
imagine, and I think I remember you saying something that it was similar with Saka, that like, it's not that they stopped them, but it was the best stopping that you've ever seen of like,
yeah. I mean, he's a very good left back, and guess what? He's left-footed,
that's a
and
good
he's
thing.
left back. And
Yeah.
yeah, that could have changed so much. Just bring a left-footed left back in your team. You got 26 players, man. Just you're not going to play all of them. Like, just bring one, just in case. But no, like So moving on. So Mark Gahey's your man of the tournament for England.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I think for me, he was the standout player. He was the most surprising player. Annoyingly, he'll probably be playing for Chelsea next season because they'll go and buy him.
No, he
Um,
won't. He's coming to Liverpool.
well, maybe Chelsea will find out he's going to Liverpool and then add on 20 million to the transfer fee. So he'll be there. So if
Apparently,
he's
just so you know, boss, Will, I was just having a look to see about Gay. Apparently, today Arsenal put a £70 million bid in for him.
I can't see it happening, but maybe it'd be amazing if we did. It would it would mean us getting rid of Gabriel, I imagine. And I'm a big fan of Gabriel. So
Yeah, maybe I don't
um,
know. Maybe like the third centre back rotation and all that.
70 million, that's a lot. That's getting into the Man
That's
City
not.
territories of having a 50+ million third
Yeah,
choice centre back. Um,
that's all right.
let's
When this podcast becomes big, we'll sponsor Arsenal for 100 million a season, and then they can do it just like City.
yeah, we'll do it, mate. I'll say I want to pay 150 a season. So yeah, that's what we need. Lots of
Mhm.
views. So if he's your player for England, who's your player? Who's your player in the tournament?
For England, you said.
No, if Mark
What?
Gahey's for England. So who's your player of the tourney for
Ooh.
overall?
Uh, it's between two, and it's between. I mean, they call him Fabian in Spain, but it's Fabian Ruiz, like
Yeah,
him.
very
He's,
good player. Yeah.
but I also like this again. This is going to be strangely controversial, but not really. Nico Williams rather than Yamal.
Nico Williams, yeah, Nico Williams played very, very well. Scored a few goals. Scored in the final. So
Yeah.
really, really did well. I mean, I've gone Yamal just purely
Mm.
because it was the obvious one to go for. His place for Spain. I think he won Young Player of the tournament. Um,
Did.
and he just
And Pele.
yeah, showed what he could do on one of the biggest stages in football. So yeah, broke records like that only Pele had held, and the fact that he was a teenager in a final. Was that what was
Final,
the
yeah.
what was the record? Um,
Um, he was 17 years old and X amount of days, and obviously Yamal had only turned 17 the day before.
yeah,
So
yeah, I think youngest player to play at the Euros, youngest scorer at the Euros. Um,
mhm.
I'm definitely not going to give it to Rodri. I know Rodri. I think Rodri won Player of the tournament.
Oh, did he?
He definitely went up. Yeah, he definitely went up on. Yeah, I was I was trying not to watch the celebrations, but it was on in the background. He definitely went. I think he won Player of the tournament. My view, he should have been sent off in the first game. Like how he didn't
Hmm.
get sent off. Missed his second game. He's been good and he's a good player. And don't get me wrong, bet of the year. And I don't like to bet anymore, Leon. But my bet of the year is Rodri to win the Ballon d'Or. I already feel the hype from the media, from the pundits. We're talking about there was shows on ITV about how Rodri should win the Ballon d'Or but won't. It very much feels like the hype around that Italian defender that won it,
Cannavaro.
Cannavaro. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the first defender to win it. It was only ever like attackers that were winning it. Italy won the World Cup, I think, in 2006, and
Yeah.
yeah, he won
Right.
it in 2007. And it was a hype train. It was just pundits and media talking about this player should win it, and he ended up winning it. I feel the same is going to be Rodri. Look, maybe not, but if anyone's listening that likes a bet, get get Rodri on to win Ballon d'Or this coming season. There hasn't been a real standout player in the world over the last kind of 12 months, and yeah, Rodri's my bet. But I don't think he should, but I think he will because the media love him. But yeah, no, Yamal has been my player that plays the tournament. Team of the tourney for me. I don't. You'll probably pick Spain, but I'd probably pick Spain. But as a non-obvious choice, Austria for me.
Mm.
Just great fun to watch. High press, high intensity. Just it felt like a watching a Premier League side again. Like it didn't feel like watching an international side. And I
Mm.
just really enjoyed watching them play. A big shout out to Romania as well. Really enjoyed Romania. Thought they were really good to watch, especially in the group stages.
Yeah. I think that, like, personally, the favourite team of mine to watch. I watched almost all of the games. Favourite, most exciting team that made me feel the most emotive and the best was probably Turkey.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah, I mean they were incredible. The atmosphere when you watched it on TV was incredible.
And they've got one of my favourite players of all time, specifically because of Championship Manager, but Vincenzo Montella. And so
Of course, of
I
course,
couldn't
Monty's
help.
there.
They wanted to play attacking football. They're sort of like my overachievers almost. And then I mean, it's obvious. I'm pretty sure everybody would pick Italy as the worst or most like the most bait team of the tournament, or the team that just didn't do as
I think
well.
Belgium definitely could have given them a run for the money on most underachievers.
I know what you mean, but when you've got Roberto Martinez as your manager, I that's what I expect to happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
He's
he's not.
terrible.
He's Portugal's manager now, Leon.
Oh Christ, yeah. Sorry, he is. You're right. Um,
Yeah, I don't know who the manager of Belgium is, but they carried on in the same vein that they did under
they did.
Martinez.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and I mean, well, there we go. Hilariously, that's why Portugal failed with one of the best squads in the tournament. He went from making Belgium the worst team ever, even though they stayed in second or first in the FIFA rankings for about 20 years, and then now he's made Portugal terrible. Good
Oh yeah,
manager.
without a doubt, mate.
Um,
Without a doubt, yeah,
next England
one of the
manager.
best.
Next England manager.
Well,
Come on.
hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. And let's wrap up the Euros chat with goal of the tourney, goal of the tournament for you, Leon. What was that goal that you saw? You were like, that's special. There was a lot of
Um,
outside the boxes this
mm,
tournament.
there was a lot, and like so honourable mentions. Stanchu's goal for Romania in the first group game, top bins,
Yes, great goal.
unbelievable shot. I don't even remember the other guy's name who scored the volley in that same game. That was like the craziest volley I've almost ever seen.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember the
Can't
name, but
remember his
yes,
name.
great.
Marin, maybe. Anyway, my favourite goal was Gula's goal.
Yeah,
So Gula's goal,
versus Georgia.
yeah, bending into the top corner. I mean, the obvious choice is like Bellingham, but I sort of half embarrassed at that point. Like it was an amazing goal, but it was also like, geez,
Yeah,
we needed that.
I had I had a new watch again. He doesn't make the cleanest contact, but I mean it's an amazing goal in the fact that it's the last seconds of a knockout game in the Euros, and he produces an overhead kick. Like,
Well, that
but
self.
it wasn't like a Ronaldo Bale-esque overhead kick. It was more of a full backwards
Yeah,
kind of kick. I definitely got Jude in. I got Jude in that honourable mentions. Gula, Borelli as well. I don't know if you remember that goal for Italy against Albania.
I do.
Absolutely superb goal.
Yeah,
But yeah, for me, goal of the tournament, and just because I forgot this player still existed, was Shaqiri's goal for Switzerland against Scotland.
yeah,
Been on the pitch, a matter of minutes, was already enjoying the fact that Shaqiri was still playing football, and then he just pops up and smashes the ball against Scotland, scores against Scotland, and pretty much ends their tournament, which is amazing. So great goal, funny, great player. Love the fact he's still playing, and love the fact he was against Scotland.
Just to mention a few things, 'cause obviously I love Xherdan Shaqiri.
Yeah,
One thing is he's played in 7 major tournaments now.
yeah, that's unbelievable amount of tournaments for a player of his age as well. He's not even that old, right?
He's
He's,
32.
yes,
He's
that's crazy.
32. He's scored in 6 tournaments. That's nearly
And
as many as
generally
Ronaldo.
scores classics as well.
He
So
does, mate. And he was also known as the Power Cube when he played for Liverpool. And Klopp came out once in an interview and they said, what do you think about Xherdan Shaqiri? And he said, well, he doesn't make sense. And they went, what do you mean? And he went, well, he's like this big, but he's like this wide.
well, yeah,
And
he definitely is. He's the blockhead. He's blockhead, mate. He's absolute
he's
blockhead.
serious, just power muscle, man. But yeah, I agree. So anyway, my love for Xherdan Shaqiri, mostly from the Barcelona game, but I still do love Xherdan Shaqiri, and it was a fantastic goal. I mean, it's a goal good enough to win any goal of the tournament, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and yeah, it's a fantastic goal. So yeah, I think we'll end our conversation saying that Shaqiri's goal was the best, and that's fact. Facts, boss, facts.
I
Um,
concede. I concede to you. I'll let it go.
no,
I'll let you
you're obviously probably not the best, but just the funniest that it happened against um, Scotland, and
Scotland.
he'd been on the pitch a couple of minutes. It was a bye moment.
It
So
was like
perfect.
Sean Lock.
So what wanted to jump on quickly before we wrap up, Leon, is who is your pick for the next England manager? And
Well,
I can
so
give
there's
you some I can give you some odds here, boss. So the
sure.
top five. So I feel that because I went top five, I feel I know what your pick is already. Graham Potter is in first place in favourites. averaging a 5-2. So, and Eddie Howe is 5-2 as well. Lee Carsley, again, that would be a typical like FA appointment.
No word.
Pochettino, why is this person in the running? If you're going to get a non-English manager, get a non-English manager that has won stuff. That's all I'm saying. Not
Yeah.
Poch, Mopo, old Mo. And then
hmm
fifth in the betting is Jurgen Klopp. So
Yeah.
at 12-1. So bit of a long shot, but definitely in the running there.
Well, Klopp, if we get him, obviously, if England can get Jurgen Klopp to be their manager, not only will it be the most entertaining next X amount of years that he takes over, because I love Jurgen Klopp. And I feel like most football fans, like especially now he's not the Liverpool manager, would probably say, quite like Jurgen Klopp. So if that's the case, he's likeable, he's very good, and he's a great man manager. And if anyone will find a way to work out England's problems and fit it into a modern way of playing football, it's probably Klopp. However, that's never going to happen. And so we'll go with the realism of, is it going to be Lee Carsley, Graham Potter, or Eddie Howe?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Bring us back down to earth, Neil, with some realism of is it going to be anyone apart from Lee Carsley? That is the question.
No.
Right.
And the
The
reason
only
is,
thing I say, yeah, go on, boss.
I was going to say the only reason you can't hire Graham Potter, and the reason that it's weird that he's the favourite, is because he said that the Chelsea job put him under too much pressure and scrutiny, and he didn't like the way that the media reacted to him, and that is why his tenure was so bad. If he thinks that Chelsea's pressure and build-up and media is bad, wait till he's standing in a stadium and loads of mental cases are throwing beer cups at him when you've been to a quarter-final, semi-final, and a final. So it just implode. It just implode.
I'll tell you another reason why Graham Potter won't be getting the England job is because he's still being paid by Chelsea. I heard that he was still being paid 200 grand a week, and he will be getting paid for up until kind of October or November. So, and if he takes another job, he will no longer get paid. So he's never taken a job before that point. So it depends when they want to hire for. If it's like next year, I'm sure they'll probably want to hire someone in soon. So I would say Potter's out, Eddie Howe's probably out. Like Newcastle aren't going to let him go, and so Lee Carsley for me, it's so depressing. And for you, he's an old toffee
Everton
as well. So
is the old
him and
double midfield, Gravison and Carl
about to say he had a double pivot with Gravison, the two
did.
bald eagles,
Mate,
the nutters of the football teams. But yeah,
Fury.
so future's maybe not looking so bright for England if this is the top. But maybe as long as we don't go like Frank Lampard.
No,
But someone like
can't.
maybe like a Michael Carrick, he's done some wonderful things at Middlesbrough. He's really got them playing very well, and they were a very poor side to watch beforehand. And I only really know that because I've got a friend who's a Middlesbrough fan, and he goes on about Michael Carrick about being the second coming. Like so, someone maybe like that's young and kind of has had some sort of experience in being successful.
Yeah,
But yeah, probably Lee Carsley.
like more likely, I think. Although Eddie Howe came out and said specifically, he basically said, "I won't ever turn down the England job." I suspect it'll be Eddie Howe, but
Yes,
I actually think Carsley would do a better job than Eddie Howe, because
he knows
Lee
the
Carsley,
setup, right?
well, he plays overlapping fullbacks with 1-6 and 2 8-10s that attack.
Okay.
And he plays a poacher striker with inverted wingers. or wingers that can go both ways, I should say, more so. And so he's very, very, very modern. Although I wouldn't, like, if someone had just said to me, what do you think, well, first they'd say, do you know Lee Carsley's a manager? And I would go, no. And then they'd say, do you know how he plays? And I'd go, 4-4-2? And then he doesn't. He plays like a more cerebral version of football. And he's done, I believe, at least the under-21s, but I think he might have done the under-18s, or under-18s, under-19s, under-21s, or 19s, 20s, 21s. I'm not sure. He did something like that. And so, I mean, I don't know. It's not the most optimistic of appointments if that happens, is it? But it is something that I think would probably benefit England in the long run. Like, personally,
I get what you mean. It'll be a continuation appointment, right? Like, this is how Southgate got started. Went to the under-21s, managed there, he won some stuff there as well, and then got brought up. And that's the same as Carsley. So maybe it'll be Carsley. Like, you're hoping Klopp. I've seen Arsene Wenger's on the betting, so I'd love Arsene Wenger being there. But yeah, that's for another story. So
Steve
Leon,
G.
it's been a cracking first pod. I've really enjoyed just kind of shooting the breeze, talking England, talking Euros.
Me too.
Putting the world to rights, or the problems that we have with international football to rights. We'll be back next week, and I think that you are going to talk about something that we're going to do next week. Is a bit different. It's not just about football. We're going to talk about kind of our fantasy champ man team. So over to you just to sign off on that.
So the tease, the hook for everyone is that next week we're going to be starting a feature at this point in the show where it will be called something like, what are they up to now? And it is going to be, because this is a feature that is close to my heart. It's something that I've enjoyed ever since university, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more when we've got more time and around the segment next week. But both myself and Will were, and still are to a certain degree, avid Football Manager, Championship Manager players. Our favourite iteration of the game is probably the one that is everybody's favourite of the game, because it is the best one, which is maybe 0102, 0203. Either one of those two games are fantastic. But specifically, the one that's 0102 is freeware now, and like when it was on the Xbox, it was great. And we played a lot of it at uni. And so we've come up with a team, and I'll read the team out, at least to hook you all. And we're going to try and see what happened to these particular players. And the interesting thing about the players themselves is that they're all more players that were really good on Championship Manager, but maybe weren't so good in real life. Or if they were, maybe it didn't turn out the way that Champ Manager expected. So we've gone for a 4-3-3 formation. We just picked 3 attackers, 3 midfielders, 4 defenders, and a goalkeeper. I'll read the names out, and then I suppose you can interact in the comments and tell me if you actually even know any of these players. But first is goalie, Sebastian Frey. We've got 2 centre-backs, the 2 legends that are Lewis Buxton and Michael Duff. We've got right back and left back, Cosmin Contra. Most people would have never heard of him. And Jamie Victory, like one of my favourite players in Champ Manager ever. Then 3 central midfielders. We've got Ishmael Yakubu, Barnet's finest. Got David Bryan, and I'm almost certain no one, except for people who've played Champ Manager, will have ever heard of David Bryan. They won't even know who he is. And he is the pass master.
I reckon maybe his family don't know who David Bryan is. That's how obscure David Bryan is. If David Bryan, if you're listening now and someone's tagged you in, we would love to have a proper chat about how your career went and what made you so good at 15 that Championship Manager essentially made you one of the best midfielders in England. which
20,
I'd love to
20
know.
passing. Unreal.
But
And
we'll be looking more into that on your show, David.
yeah, for sure, man. I mean, David Bryan's one of my favourite players ever. He's somebody you can pick up early doors in the game and then have for the entirety of the game. 20 creativity, 20 passing, over 100 passes a game. The less said, the better, I suppose. But we'll get into that on his day. And and the third midfielder is, I mean, you love him, boss. I love him. He's one of my favourite players. And however you say his first name, Lebanon Harbouzi. One of the greatest attacking midfielders you're ever likely to see or not see, because I never actually saw him play. And then tried and tested. And me and Will have probably, funnily enough, the middle striker, which is Papadopoulos, who was basically a cheat code. Like, he scored 100 million goals every season until he was about 50. So, like, we both love him. However, we both love these players, but fall on different sides, I would say. I would say you love Cherno Samba, and I love Justin Josh.
Yeah, I love Cherno and Papa as a strike force.
And mine would always be Josh Papa. Yeah. You see? So we go for different things. And obviously we all know, we won't go into it now, but I'm sure we'll get into it during some of these episodes, the infamous Sheffield Wednesday Millwall game. And
that's a very niche, though, that conversation, Leon. I think only me and you would ever find that conversation interesting, but I'm sure it'll pop up occasionally on
when we got Patreon,
podcast.
People will come in.
Yeah.
But yeah. that's
segment. Our new Patreon channel. It's a blow by blow reenactment of Sheffield Wednesday versus Millwall, where Leon came in as Chef Wen and managed to win the Champions League as Millwall were still fighting to get into the Premier League. But yeah, no, Leon, that's a great little segment. Looking forward to the first few where we'll go in depth and kind of talk about where they are now. Be great if any of them are listening. Drop us a comment, drop us a call. We'd love to get you on the pod. So that's it from us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first ever instalment of the Red Cartel podcast. Just two guys, two mates, Arsenal fan, Liverpool fan, talking football, and I hope you enjoyed it. So from me, Will, I'll see you later, guys. And from Leon, he'll see you too.
Take it easy.
Legends. Bye all.
Bye.